All right, we're talking about one of the biggest trade teams one of the teams that made the biggest trades this past offseason, acquiring Erik Karlsson, the Pittsburgh Penguins. It's very exciting. I was really excited I wasn't excited to see him move. I am a Sharks fan, but I am excited that he has an opportunity to play with Crosby and actually go for a Stanley Cup. If you think they're going to make the playoffs, I think they can. And I think this is one of the big pieces, and they're going to be having a lot of points on that defense. So let's just jump right into it. All right, so we have the Pittsburgh Penguins coming into the season with Jake Gensel on LTIR. They put out a press release that says right here they'll be missing 12 weeks, and he had the surgery on August 2nd. So that's a long time because it's a good chunk of the season. So 12 weeks means about 3 months. So you're looking at, September, October, November. So you're going to be already at November 2nd, and it's probably going to take him a month or so to kind of get his feet under him. So he's going to be missing a good chunk of the season. So especially with a top guy like Jake Gensel, you'll have to fill that in. So we'll see how they're going to do that. I still think that won't be an issue if he can come back and bounce back like we know he can. But we'll just see how it goes. So one of the things, so they were uptight to the cap essentially. Besides just a little bit, I don't know. They'll just move someone down, send someone down, right? But that's where all this LTIR. I thought they would. I thought they would have had more. But they had nothing. They really can't make any moves at the deadline unless they're switching a player for a player, or something like that. Maybe a guy that's not performing as well. But I expect them to go all in at this point. They've got the big pick. They missed last year. They're not going to do it 2 years in a row while they have Sidney Crosby and while they have this core. Even if they are a little bit older, and by a little bit I mean a lot older. But I think that they have a really good opportunity to try and make the Stanley Cup, make the playoffs, and go far. I think they could probably go second round, in my opinion. So jumping over to some of the people that they lost this year, quite a few losses because there was a lot of trades and everything. And they also picked up a decent amount of guys too. You can see just some of the couple ones that they did. Actually, we'll just go over the different transactions. Okay, some of the trades they made, picking up Riley Smith for a third-round pick, great pickup. Not just Riley Smith, a Stanley Cup winner, Riley Smith. He'll be playing that top line, especially, which would be very exciting. Small trader here. Again, here's the giant Erik Karlsson trade that they did. A couple of the moves they ended up really doing away with, which is really good, is they end up moving out Casey DeSmith. They moved out Jeff Petrie. They had to move out a prospect and a second round pick as well. They also moved their first round pick. So this is essentially their trade deadline move, which is why they don't have any cap space, because they did their trade deadline move in the summer, right? And now Erik Karlsson gets to get acclimated to the system and not just getting thrown in there, play 20 or so games, and then go to the playoffs, right? He gets a full 82 if he's not injured, and really gets to learn the system and how to best be utilized in their system as well. So again, so moving on, Mikael Granlund, who was picked up at last year's trade deadline for a second round pick, and he had another year left, and I didn't think it was a great pick in the first place. Also moving out Jan Ruda, I don't love that move. I think they had to move it out just so the Sharks would feel a little more that they got a better deal out of this, I would say. Again, that first round pick, picking up prospect Dylan, and as well as third round pick, as well as Rem Pitlick, which I think really is gonna take care of that Jan Ruda's position, that Rem Pitlick. So we'll see how that pans out. And let me know what you think of this trade. I think it's great. I love that it was done. So, but again, that's really the biggest trades they end up doing. Signing a couple guys, Ty Smith to a one year contract, Drew O'Connor to a 2 year contract. Just small things right here, right? You can see Matt Nieto. I like the Matt Nieto deal, but that's me. So I'm big. I like Matt Nieto when he played on the Sharks. And then going over to their depth. So this is their depth and their lines. And the lines are going to be similar to what I'm going to show you with the points and everything. I'm just showing some of the new acquisitions, right? And this is so you're seeing Alex Nylander. Well, he was already there, but I guess he's changed his number, I guess. So Riley Smith is going to be a huge piece right there on the top line. You have Matt Nieto, Noel Acciari, Rem Pitlick. I love the Noel Acciari pickup. Again, Kyle Dubas. Oh my God, I didn't mention Kyle Dubas. Kyle Dubas is the new general manager as well. So you're seeing the Toronto guy. He was so scolded and everything. He's now the president of hockey operations as well as the GM at the current state. It's probably waiting for someone else to take over the GM position when someone becomes available. But we're seeing him take over as a GM right now, making that massive trade and everything. So he has some familiarity with Noel Acciari, who he picked up from St. Louis for last year's playoff with the Toronto Maple Leafs. which Noel Chari was one of the helpers that took him to the second round. I think this is a cool lineup. It's a lot of older players, right, and a lot of guys that are locked up for quite a long time, right? So you're seeing. We'll jump over to some of the stats over here on Cap Friendly. Big fan of Cap Friendly. If you're not using it already, what are you doing? So, all right, so we're seeing last season. So the nice thing with the Riley Smith deal as well is you're getting him not only for next year, but the year after, this up and coming year, but the year after as well. 56 points, 78 games, great point production, and only 16 minutes a game too, which is impressive, right? One of the GOATs, Sidney Crosby, 93 points in 82 games, phenomenal. I mean, and Brian Rice, part of that supporting cast, over half a point per game. You can't be mad about that either. So, especially for his pricing and everything. Matt Nieto getting moved up in the lineup, like I said, with the Gensel injury and everything. 24 points in 81 games. I think he has a higher upside than that. He is 30 years old, so, I mean, we're kind of seeing what he is. But at 13 minutes, he was getting like third line minutes at that point. Right, so put him on the second line. You're going to get 18 minutes out of him, 15 to 18 minutes out of him. So you're going to get him a little more play time. So I think that'll be huge for an opportunity for him as well. Getting Mulligan of point per game. Are we surprised? Absolutely not. So, I mean, especially out of that 6.1, what a steal for having a number one center on your second line like that. So, Ricardo Kell doing very well, especially for 30 years. Again, older team, right? So 30 years old. It's Richard Seeger. Guys are in their declining prime, I'd say. But 60 points in 82 games. It's a pretty good pickup. I like that as well. And then Drew O'Connor playing third line. That's a great contract right there. So mind you, a lot of these guys would be playing lower in the lineup if it wasn't for the Gensel issue right there, Gensel injury and everything. So you have Drew O'Connor, only played 46 games last year, 11 points, nothing crazy. Big body, 6'3", though. That's good. I like that. Jeff Carter. And not a lot of people like the Jeff Carter contract, but mind you, he's playing in these third line roles, right? And he has a UFA at the end of that year, so we'll see if he ends up sticking around or he decides to hang up the skates. At 38 years old, I think this is his last go. So we could see that 3.1 million being freed up and potentially going out to pick up a new guy next offseason. So. Again, Noel Chari, I really like. I think the nice things about this is Noel Chari can also play center here as well. So look at this. You have three centers, right? Well, if you call Rem pick, like, oh, I thought Rem played defense. That is my apologies. I was incorrect in there. So you have Lars Eller playing center. You have Jeff Carter can play center. Noel Chari can play center. So I like that. I like that versatility that you have there. If you guys get a guy that kicks out of the circle, we got someone that can take a face off and everything. So. Moving on to the fourth line, Rem Pitlick playing about a point every 3 games. So you'd like a little. I mean, it's fourth line production, right? You're not expecting anything huge out of these guys. Vinny Hinostroza getting a huge opportunity. I mean, that's a point every a point every 2.5 games. And that's not terrible for your fourth line production. You kind of want a little more. Like I said, it's fourth line, right? What do you expect? I'm not really super impressed with the depth for the Penguins, but when you have such a dynamic top line, especially with I'd say top 2 lines when they're fully healthy, I mean, I'm super impressed with that. They just need to be more of a shutdown in that case. You're not looking to put up huge points for them, but I guess I would like to see a little more production out of the depth for what they're paying them and everything. So we'll see how that goes this year. Okay, moving on to the defense and one of the big pickups, Ryan Graves, a huge contract, he gets 5 years at $4.5 million, I think it was, big contract. And so I think this is your defensive defenseman, right? And look at this, 34 plus or minus. Plus or minus, mind you, is a stat that they use for even strength. So that means that he was on the ice for more goals that were scored than were for his team that were scored on him. That's 34 points. You like the defensive play at least for a guy like him. For Erik Karlsson, who had a minus 26, out there for a lot of empty net goals, I imagine as well. It really just all gas, no breaks. Current Norris winner, best defenseman in the league. 101 points, 82 games, a 1.23. Goodness gracious, that's even higher than Sidney Crosby at a 1.13. I love that. 25 minutes a game, almost playing half a game. It's crazy. He's not going to be playing that much, especially with a guy like Chris Letang playing a lot of that power play. So I imagine we're going to see a significant drop in Erik Karlsson's production. And then we're also going to see Chris Letang probably playing that power play too. So he'll probably get a little bit drop in production, but it will even out in my opinion. Again, so these are good matchups. I like this. I like how they're pairing these guys. Erik Karlsson, of course, he'll be playing a ton of power play. Again, hardly any defense, but that's why you have. That's why you sign a guy like Ryan Graves, and then you have Marcus Pettersson. Again, not a huge production, but he's going to be your defensive guy for Crystal Tang. So I like this pairing up here as well. And then you have your bottom pair. I mean, it's going to be you're going to get some of the other guys in here. At least at this Marcus Freeman, I don't even know who that is. So you get this bottom pair, it's fine. It's a third pair. You're going to be playing them a little bit, but you really be focusing mostly on the Erik Karlsson and Letang lines as your defensemen. So one of the ones I didn't care for the signings, and now there wasn't a huge goalie market at this point, and so we'll see what happens next year. But they did sign, Tristan Jarry as their goalie, their starting goalie. I think it was like a 5-year deal, 4 or 5 year deal at 5.375. I like Jarry. I'm not super impressed with him. He had an okay save percentage with that 0.91. That's above average. 2.9 goals against. You want to see even better. I think you're now the starter, man. You have been, but he really flopped in the playoffs 2 years ago. Clearly they weren't good enough to make this playoffs last year. But with a 24-13 record, you can't be too mad at Jarry. But again, you've committed to him. He is now your starter. So, and they also signed Alex Nedeljkovic as well as Magnus Hellberg as their third goalie, who Alex Nedeljkovic and Magnus Hellberg were both playing in the Red Wings last year. Neither did a great season, but I think this is more of a redemption tour for Nedeljkovic, signing a 1-year deal, $1.5 million. Again, I think you need those numbers to go up, and he's going to get a lot of play time, so he's got to be able to perform better. So we'll see how that goes and everything. Again, and then of course, again, like I said, Jake Gensel. He'll be back. I said probably late or around American Thanksgiving, so that's around that early November, around that time. And so you're gonna get 73 points in 78 games, dynamic, almost a point per game. We love that. So I'm really excited about the Penguins. I'm really excited to see what they do with their season. I hope they do well. I'm pushing for them to get the playoffs. I think two teams that missed the playoffs last year that, in my opinion, I don't know if they deserved it, I'd say. I think Pittsburgh needed to get it knocked down a peg and end that streak. I'm bummed for Crosby, but I think they need to end that streak so that they could move forward, right? You go 2 steps back so you can go 3 steps forward, right? So I think that's what's huge about this and why they made the Erik Karlsson deal. They need to make a statement. They need to say, hey, we went out there, we tried to improve. It is, and now Kyle Dubas says, hey, man, it's not on me now. It's you. You team, I gave you the guys. Go out and perform. You are the guys, as well as I brought in a guy. Perform, right? So I think that really it just shows the confidence he has in his team. Washington Capitals, another one that I thought deserved to miss the playoffs last year, but I don't see them making the playoffs. Still, I don't think they made enough good moves to be able to say, hey, we're going, we're ready to go. So I think Pittsburgh Penguins are betting on themselves, and they're saying, hey, we're older, but we're gonna take this as far as we can go with the team we got. I think that's what Crosby deserves, is you go all out on him. So we'll see what happens. So let me know what your thoughts are. Hit like, subscribe, comment if you think that I'm completely wrong. I'm still learning about the Pittsburgh Penguins, but I am excited about them. I'm excited to cheer for Erik Karlsson. So let me know your thoughts. Hit like, subscribe, and love you.